Hey everyone, Yasin here, and today I'm doing a speed sketch while also doing a review of this thing. It's Dbmier A4 LED Ultra Thin Light Tracer Artcraft Tracing Light Pad Light Box. I guess I just wanted to make sure it's you have no doubt about what this thing is. And they sent the Dbmier, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, company sent me this, and so I'm going to do a review on it. And I noticed that a few artists have already done reviews on this particular product. So rather than just go through all its features, because really it's, okay, well, it doesn't take long to go through its features. It's just kind of like an iPad, but big, and it's a light table. It's super, and it's got a light button with three different light settings. So it's like bright, brighter, and then brightest setting. And then that's it. So you just plug it in, and that's pretty much all the features, I guess. I mean, you can use it for different things. So anyway, I was thinking, what am I going to use this for? And I wanted to do a review that's actually using the product rather than just like, oh, this product is capable of this. Like, just use it. And I thought, okay, maybe I could use it kind of like layers. Like when I do speed sketching, I use layers. I do this very sketchy layer to get the gesture, get the proportion on the page, the composition and stuff. And then what I do is just make a new layer and draw on top. So that's what I was planning to do. And the size of this thing is very good. It's A4, and you can see my page is A4, so it comfortably fits on top of this. And I don't know, there wasn't too much problem with it. There were, okay, so the problems that I did notice is one thing. It's got this three things. So the first thing is it came with like this film on it, and the film is meant to protect the glass, but it is too sticky. Dbmier people, you make your film too sticky. But I was worried, like, am I going to damage something when removing this film? Unless the film is not supposed to come off, in which case it had yellow marks on it. I don't know what this thing was up to, but and I'm pretty sure the film comes off. So that was one thing. And then the other thing is the tapper for the light, like it's perfectly smooth. I'm going to include a link to the product so you can check it out if you want to buy it. And it has screenshots of the thing because, I mean, come on, I didn't really do a good job of presenting it. But anyway, the tapper, sometimes it didn't work. It wasn't responsive. And one time it just stopped working. And then I waited a few seconds and then it came back. So it was working again. And then after that, I didn't have any problems. So maybe that's an issue. I mean, and then the other thing is the plug where it plugs in. It doesn't feel super secure. I think it could be a bit more secure. I don't know how you're going to do that because I'm not a manufacturer person, but if you made like the next version, which I think, you know, definitely there's no reason not to because this version's already really good, then I would do that. And the price is $60, which is, again, I bought a light table a while back because I was planning on doing comics and stuff, and it was around $200. It was A3 though, so it was a bit bigger, but it was way thicker and it was heavy and it got really hot, whereas this one, it was super cool. Like it didn't get really hot and it wasn't heavy. I mean, super light, super cool, super thin. So thank you, Dbmier, for sending me this thing. I will recommend it. I give it, well, what did I give before? Bang Bang? No, okay, it's just good. It's fine. Price is good. What you get is good. But yeah, if you make version 2, just make the things a bit more secure and the sticky thing a bit less sticky. All right, so here I'm using the, I used, I think, setting 2 for the light. Maybe it's a bit too strong. Maybe I should have used setting 1. I was concerned, like, maybe it's not going to show up on camera, but I can see, no, it shows up pretty well on camera. And I guess I can talk more about what I'm actually doing now, other than sticking my head in the frame, though you still can see where I'm drawing. But when I do the sketch, so I did this really rough sketch in green, and this is my first time using the product because I really don't have too much time, and I feel like I need a lot more mileage, but I didn't want to just, you know, get a few months of mileage and then do this after a really long time because I figured they sent me this thing, so I might as well do a review on it. And it's like, okay, so first I do the rough sketch and get the gesture, and then a secondary cleanup stage, because in each stage I think what's really important is, and maybe, I don't know, this is just my view on things, I think it's really important not to trace. You want to use it as a guide, so I purposely want to make it a bit rougher so that when I'm drawing in the next layer, each time I'm refining it, and that keeps things a lot more fresh. Because when I went to animation school, so I went to animation school when I was 26. So for everybody who thinks, I get this a lot, like so many times I'm getting emails lately about people who are young, like 15 and 16 and 17 and stuff, and they're like, oh, what school do I go to? And I don't know, because I didn't go to art school, I'm doing quotation marks, art school, animation school, until I was, again, 26. And I learned most of the stuff that I use, I learned it either by figuring it out myself or online. And yeah, animation school did teach me some things about animation and the I don't know, process of making an animation, but nothing is as helpful as just drawing. So here, like when I was saying I need more mileage, that's because that's what will help me. It's not useful, but more than anything, it's just mileage. It's making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. And in this image, I made a ton of mistakes. But anyway, going back to the thing about tracing. So in animation school, what you do is you, when you animate, you have roughs and you have cleans. So at first you take a rough pencil, usually it's blue, and we were using Prismacolor pencils, and you do your rough sketch on rough paper, and then on top you put a clean paper, which is more smooth, and I don't know, it's smoother, it's a bit thicker, and it's more, and then you put that on, and then you clean it up. And basically what you're doing, or what I was doing, is just tracing the line underneath, and that gets really bad because you get into this tracing type mode, which is very different when you think, I mean, even in this, I was thinking in a different way. I was thinking in a very, I don't know, it's less free, I felt. I mean, because I sped the video up, it took me 30 minutes or something to draw the actual thing, so I'm not actually drawing this fast. But you get in this tracing mindset, which is a lot more slow, and maybe it's good for making things nice and clean, but you lose energy. And so the big thing for me has been not just in stuff like this, because as I said, I mean, I'm just using this for the first time, but even in Photoshop and digital work, it's once you've created a good gesture and it's rough, how do you maintain the energy? And I think one way is to not think of your drawing as, or your cleanup as just tracing over the thing and just making it more clean, but rather think of it like each step you're refining the image, like it's almost a blurry, you're looking through a camera lens and it's blurry, and then you're just bringing things into focus, rather than, oh, I'm just cleaning it. And a lot of what I'm doing is line variation, because you saw originally when I did the tracing, or I'm assuming you noticed that things looked very different once I turned off the light. And so the way to fix it is, it's because it's too simple, right? You've just got borders. It's to add line width, to add, you'll notice there's occlusion shadows, and what those are the shadows that form where light cannot get in that area. So usually when two things touch, okay, it's really easy to show you. Okay, just take your finger and look at your finger, right? And have your finger like upwise, pointed like straight out. And then finger, and notice the creases in your finger. Notice how as you bend it more down, eventually you get like this dark line that appears, and that's an occlusion shadow, because in normal things, if you have a form, light's hitting that form. But then you have a shadow where the light's not hitting, but the light still hits areas around that form, and so light bounces from, let's say I had a ball on a table, the light's going to hit the ball, but it's also going to hit the table and bounce, and that bounce light is going to go into the shadow, which is going to lighten that shadow up. With occlusion shadows, it's like the thing with your finger where you're making a crease where light does not get through, and so it ends up being very dark. So usually in photos you'll see this in things like the armpit and stuff, but that's what I'm really adding, is just these occlusion shadows. And that's, I don't know, they often appear like triangular type shapes. And that's just the nature of overlapping things. So usually when you want to, if you're confused about where do I put occlusion shadows, look for areas that are overlapping. Again, you know, armpit, here I have it in the bicep. It's also adding some shadows and stuff, but areas like in the hair, there's parts where one strand overlaps another strand, and that's where I'll have these occlusion shadows, and that really helps to make it look more detailed, like, because it brings back some of the polish. I don't think I maintain the energy. When I look at this image, it's, for me anyway, it's kind of painful, because it's like, oh, I lost so much and I was very much under pressure. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know, I have to give a bunch of disclaimers like, oh, but, you know, this is why it's not very good and stuff. But anyway, it's really just a case of I need a lot more practice on it. So yeah, I put in occlusion shadows, and then I'm also using a marker, and I'm using a pen to put in some hatching. I don't think I did any cross hatching. I don't really like cross hatching where you go with lines one direction, then go in the other direction. I much prefer just regular hatching. I don't know, it looks cleaner. And I like this type of simple, minimalistic approach. I'm not saying cross hatching is bad, because, I mean, look at Michelangelo, he does it great. But I think for my style, it's not that, it doesn't look as good. And here what I'm doing is just adding some, I don't know what it is, energy stuff with, I just had it. That's all, that's the only thing I had. I had like pink, I had some grays which are running out, which sucks, and a darker thing. And now I'm just making the pointier, and basically just cleaning up. I mean, pretty much we're at the end of this video. There's not much more to show. See there, again, thinking about some shadows, a cast shadow. That one's not an occlusion shadow. That was a cast shadow where light is being blocked by another object. That's a cast shadow. And when light is just unable to get into an area, that's an occlusion shadow. And I sometimes call them accent darks, because that's how I think about them. I think about them very similar to the way I think of specular highlights, which are those shiny highlights. Like you get the eye highlight, that super shiny one. Oh, and I wanted to mention, again, you might notice like the pointy things, a lot of the pointy stuff, like the super sharp stuff, comes in after. And I don't know, I guess that's it. I guess that's all I wanted to talk about. So for any company that wants to send me free stuff, feel free to, and I'll make a review on it. And I recommend the Dbmier light box. It is good. Hope this helped, and thanks for watching.
Dbmier light box.